Does anybody else feel like a sewer monster looking thing in some lighting? But in other lighting feels semi-decent looking? Overhead lighting, typical bathroom lighting, is more flattering than direct head-on lighting. When I look in the mirror I think goddamn I'm hot. Then I take 50 selfies and look like a bridge troll on each one. I go from why am I not a model to why does my mother love me in a matter of minutes. 95% of the time anytime I catch my reflection I am repulsed. Sometimes I'll catch a reflection in a window or some good lighting and think there is hope after all. Relatable. Only I feel like I look like a sewer monster all the time. I have severe BDD and it sucks. Part of it stems from being called ugly all through school, but I have a lot of other hang-ups. Are white people suffering racism nowadays? I won't answer your question. But what I'll say is what the argument some people make to explain why white people are not subjected to racism. There is an ideology floating around, I don't know where it started, that basically says racism is discrimination and a lack of power and quat. The logic they use is that white people have all the power. So even if they are discriminated against, it isn't racism. I'm not preaching this ideology. Just explaining that some people have this mindset. And they would be the ones saying that white people have never experienced racism. Depends what you mean. I'm sure some white individuals experience racism for being white. That shouldn't be confused for white people experiencing more racism than other groups though. Which they don't. Systemically this is largely not the case. The only thing I can think of is affirmative action, which also disadvantages Asian folk. More so than white folk, and day pushes. These two things are attempting to level the already heavily skewed playing field. But I guess if you really wanted to you could twist it to be racist against white people. They also don't universally apply globally. As in some of these are US specific or specific to certain Western countries. Yup. Worst thing about racism is what it does internally to a person. When they believe it. Lowering their self-esteem. Or rebel so hard against it. It causes some other issue. Or embrace the stereotypes to the detriment of themselves. That's happened with black people and now I see white people doing it. As a black person I can actually get a few words out, call out racism toward white people. Something a lot of white people do not articulate well, making it into a competition of who suffers more, or just remain silent. Identitarianism is driving people mad. How are you ladies surviving in this financially unstable world? By working my butt off. Fortunately I have a degree as engineer and plenty of work out there for us. Living in California with kids though makes it really hard to feel like we can live comfortably as everything is so incredibly expensive. I am breadwinner but also main caregiver. Which means when kids get sick, I have to sacrifice work and pay sometimes. Thank goodness my job is flexible where my husband's is not. I do not envy the financial world our kids and the 20-year-olds are up against right now just trying to live on your own. Ladies, just keep busting your ass and keep your head up. Husband was fortunate to buy a small house after college a few years before COVID started and currently doing okay working government jobs. Had to push baby plans back again due to the economy. Our current jobs would make it hard to raise a child since we travel. Paying for childcare. Or with only one of us working puts us in a financially unstable position. We are lucky but I hate post-COVID where everything has gone downhill. I've been saving for 3 years and instead of using it for a child it's going towards the car. Replacing the refrigerator plus dishwasher as ours stopped working. And much needed repairs for the house. By being married to a man that works just as hard as I do. He works in a field with a lot of job security and I'm studying to get into a different field with even more job security. Both our fields pay pretty well. But we still live paycheck to paycheck after all bills are paid. It is impossible to afford anything on your own here for anyone unless you are rich and are 50 plus. So the only way is to either rely on your parents or find a partner. Marriage here comes with a few financial benefits and securities. So that's why we got married. What would have been a typical Ask Reddit post in the 90s? What's your favorite funny pics gallery? People forget that a gallery with over 30 pictures was considered large lamau. What's your favorite flash video? What cheat codes have you found? Your favorite screensaver? Does anyone know any secret content in prehistoric? How to play mines. Quick tips on restoring my dad's work computer after I gave it Blue Death. Why do my parents insist on getting home before it gets dark? The same ones that get reposted here daily. NBSP. Those who went from being atheist/religious to being religious/atheist. Why? NBSP. What is the meaning of existence? NBSP. How did you overcome depression? NBSP. What is your best pickup line? Will dial-up replace people and jobs? With Y2K looming, will the world end? Do you alphabetize your CD binders or organize by genre? Who's the second hottest actor after Brad Pitt? What were some of the major scientific and technological breakthroughs of the 1990s and how did they change the world? R/gaming post, thinking about buying the new PlayStation. Has anyone else bought it? How has been your experience? You think it can beat Nintendo consoles? Hey Redditors, can you help me? I am a nerd. My roommate is a nerd. My friends are nerds. A very pretty girl just moved into the apartment across the hall from me. I really want to ask her out on a date. What should I say to ask her out? Ida. Friend and I played a round of Pogs. He claims it was for fun but he knows I only play for keeps. Now he is holding my poison slammer hostage until I give him back his tubs. Full story in comments. Redditors with dial-up and no dedicated line. How do you pass the time when your family needs to use the phone and you can't use Reddit?